Imagine waking up 1 year from today, looking in the mirror, and realizing you've transformed into a completely different person. Smarter, stronger, and more confident. Not because of one massive change, not because you work 24/7, but because of something far simpler. You improved just 1% every single day. Sounds too small to matter, right? But here's the shocking truth. If you get 1% better each day, by the end of the year you won't just be slightly improved, you'll be 37 times better than you are today. Think about that for a second. Just a tiny shift, barely noticeable at first, can multiply into massive success over time. But most people never take advantage of this. They wait for the perfect time, the big opportunity, or a sudden burst of motivation. And guess what? That moment never comes. Today, I'm going to show you a secret that successful people, top athletes, and world-class performers all understand. The power of small, consistent changes. The truth is, massive success isn't built overnight. It's built in the tiny, invisible moments that seem insignificant at first. The way you spend your mornings, the extra 5 minutes you put into learning, the small habits you build daily. These are the things that separate those who stay stuck from those who grow into the best version of themselves. But here's the problem. Most people chase quick results. They hit the gym hard for a week, see no difference, and quit. They try to learn a new skill, struggle for a few days, and give up. Why? Because they don't see instant progress. But what if I told you that success doesn't come from intensity? It comes from consistency. That's why today, I'm going to break down how you can unlock your full potential by improving just 1% every day. And by the time we're done, you'll have the exact formula to completely transform your life without feeling overwhelmed. By the end of this video, you'll understand why small daily improvements are the most underrated way to achieve success, the hidden reason why most people fail at self-improvement, and how to start making progress today, even if you feel stuck or unmotivated. This isn't about overnight success. This isn't about grinding yourself into exhaustion. This is about a new way of thinking. A system so powerful yet so simple that once you understand it, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. If you're tired of feeling like you're not moving forward, if you've ever set big goals only to give up when progress feels too slow, or if you simply want to become the best version of yourself without the stress and burnout, then stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the turning point in your life. Let's get started. Before we talk about how to improve 1% each day, let's take a step back and think about something. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow effortlessly, achieving success year after year, while others stay stuck in the same place? The difference isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's something much smaller, so small, in fact, that most people ignore it. Tiny, consistent improvements. Picture this. If you improve just 1% today, it wouldn't feel like much. You wouldn't notice a big difference. If you did it again tomorrow, again, no huge change. But what happens if you keep doing this every day, for a week, a month, a year? At first, progress is invisible, but just like a seed growing under the soil, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Here's the math behind it. If you improve by 1% every day, after 1 year, you won't just be 365% better. You'll be nearly 37 times better than where you started. That's because growth isn't linear, it's exponential. Small improvements compound over time, just like money in a bank that earns interest. The more you invest in yourself, the greater your returns. Now let's flip it. What if you decline by 1% every day? It doesn't seem like much at first. You skip one workout. You procrastinate for just one afternoon. You put off learning that skill just for today. But these small drops add up. After a year, instead of being 37 times better, you'll be almost at 0. That's how small daily choices, good or bad, shape who you become. This applies to every part of life. Imagine if you read 1 extra page a day, by the end of the year, you'd have finished entire books. If you save just a little money each day, you'd build wealth without even realizing it. If you practiced a skill for a few extra minutes, over time, you'd outperform most people who never stuck with it. This approach doesn't just apply to businesses, it works in everyday life. Imagine you want to get in shape. Instead of forcing yourself into an extreme workout routine, Kaizen suggests starting with something so small you can't fail, maybe a 5-minute walk. The next day, you add a few stretches. The day after that, a short workout. These micro improvements build momentum, making it easier to stay consistent. Before you know it, working out becomes a habit. The same principle applies to learning, finances, relationships, everything. Want to be a better reader? Start with 1 page a day. Want to wake up earlier? Adjust your alarm by just 5 minutes each week. Small changes seem meaningless at first, but Kaizen teaches us that consistency beats intensity. Most people fail at self-improvement not because they don't try hard enough, but because they try to change too much at once. They get overwhelmed, burn out, and give up. But here's the secret. When you improve by just a little each day, you don't feel the effort. Yet over time, the results are massive. Kaizen isn't about making huge sacrifices or taking big risks. It's about committing to tiny, daily progress, trusting that each small step is moving you forward, even when you can't see the change right away. And that's what makes it so powerful. Imagine if you could be 37 times better than you are today. Stronger, smarter, more skilled, more disciplined. It sounds impossible, right? But the math says otherwise. If you improve by just 1% every day, the effect doesn't add up, it multiplies. Most people think success comes from big, dramatic changes. They want to go from zero to expert overnight. But here's the reality. Real progress is almost invisible at first. It happens so slowly that you barely notice it. That's why most people give up too soon. But for those who stick with small improvements, something incredible happens. Growth compounds over time. Think of it like planting a seed. First, nothing seems to happen. The seed is underground, hidden, barely growing. But if you keep watering it, day after day, suddenly a small sprout appears. Then it grows into a tiny plant. Eventually, it becomes a strong tree. Each day's progress was too small to notice, but over time, it created something massive. That's how 1% improvement works. The hardest part? Trusting the process. Most people quit because they don't see results fast enough. They go to the gym for a week, see no change, and give up. They start learning a skill, struggle for a few days, and decide they're not good at it. They don't realize that the biggest changes happen beneath the surface, out of sight. But those who stick with it, who commit to just 1% growth every day, wake up months later and barely recognize themselves. They have new skills, stronger bodies, better habits. And it didn't take one massive breakthrough. It took small, daily wins that stacked up over time. The most successful people in any field understand this. Writers don't wait for inspiration, they write daily, even if it's just a few sentences. Athletes don't train only when they feel like it, they show up every day even when tired. Entrepreneurs don't build businesses in a single burst of effort. They take small, consistent steps every day, even when progress feels slow. The key is to trust the process. Progress isn't always visible right away. Some days it may feel like you're not improving at all, but the results are happening beneath the surface. Keep going, stay consistent, and over time you'll look back and see just how far you've come. One of the biggest challenges is lack of motivation. In the beginning, motivation is high. You feel inspired, excited, ready to change. But motivation is like a battery, it doesn't stay fully charged forever. Eventually, it fades, and when it does, people assume something is wrong. They think they're failing, that they've lost their drive. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It's not meant to last. What keeps people going isn't motivation, it's discipline and habit. Another challenge is lack of time. Life gets busy, responsibilities pile up, and suddenly, self-improvement feels impossible. But the truth is, you don't need hours to make progress. You need consistency. A few minutes a day is enough as long as you do it every day. The key is to prioritize small, meaningful actions. Instead of scrolling on your phone for 10 minutes, read a page of a book. Instead of skipping exercise entirely, do a few stretches. Instead of putting off learning a skill, practice for just 5 minutes. Small efforts, when done daily, add up faster than most people realize. Challenges will always appear. There will always be distractions, bad days, and moments of doubt. But success doesn't come from avoiding obstacles, it comes from pushing through them. When you stay consistent, track your progress, and celebrate your wins, you create a system that keeps you moving forward no matter what. One of the best examples of the power of 1% improvement comes from the world of sports. In the early 2000s, the British cycling team was stuck in mediocrity. For nearly a century, they had won only one Olympic gold medal and had never won the Tour de France. They were so bad that bike manufacturers didn't even want to sell to them, fearing it would hurt their reputation. But that changed when Sir Dave Brailsford became the team's coach. Businesses have also applied this method with remarkable success. Toyota, one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, built its entire philosophy around Kaizen. the Japanese concept of continuous improvement. Instead of making big, sudden changes, Toyota focused on small, ongoing improvements in every part of production. Employees were encouraged to spot inefficiencies, suggest changes, and refine their work just a little each day. Over decades, this method helped Toyota become one of the most efficient and successful car companies in the world, setting a standard for industries everywhere. It's easy to overlook small actions because they don't show immediate results. But success isn't about one giant leap. It's about thousands of small steps taken consistently. The people and organizations that understand this don't just improve, they transform. Before we talk about improving by 1% every day, we need to understand how our mindset affects growth. The way you think about challenges, failures, and effort can determine whether you stay stuck or continuously improve. This is where the growth mindset comes in. Take, for example, learning a new skill. Someone with a fixed mindset might say, "I'm just not good at this," and give up. But a person with a growth mindset understands that every expert was once a beginner. They might struggle at first, but they know that consistent effort leads to progress. They focus on small improvements, trusting that even minor progress each day will add up over time. One of the most powerful aspects of a growth mindset is how it changes your relationship with failure. Many people avoid challenges because they're afraid of making mistakes. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every mistake is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. When you view failure this way, you no longer fear it. Instead, you see it as proof that you're learning and growing. Every challenge is a chance to grow. Every small step forward matters. When you embrace this mindset, daily improvements become exciting rather than exhausting. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by how far you have to go, you'll start enjoying the process of becoming better every day. In addition to tracking, visualization is a technique that can strengthen habits. Visualization is the practice of mentally picturing your success before it happens. Athletes use this technique all the time. They imagine themselves winning a race, making the perfect shot, or lifting a heavy weight. By visualizing success, the brain starts to believe it's possible, making it easier to take action in real life. For self-improvement, you can use visualization in different ways. If you want to build a habit of reading daily, imagine yourself sitting comfortably with a book, fully engaged and learning. If you're working on fitness, picture yourself feeling strong and full of energy after a workout. This mental rehearsal makes it easier to follow through in reality. If you struggle with staying consistent, try habit stacking, the practice of attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you want to start journaling, place your journal next to your toothbrush and write a quick note after brushing your teeth. If you want to meditate, do it right after waking up. Connecting habits to routines you already follow makes them easier to stick with. No matter what method you choose, the key is making progress visible and reinforcing it daily. When you track, visualize, and reflect, self-improvement becomes part of your identity. It's no longer just something you do. It becomes who you are. Viewers, to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Improving by just 1% every day may seem small, but over time, it leads to massive transformation. Small, consistent efforts compound, turning into significant progress that shapes a better, stronger, and more successful version of yourself. Whether it's reading a few pages, taking short walks, or refining a skill, these daily actions add up in ways you can't see immediately, but over time, they create a life-changing difference.